Yo, it's ODB. In this video, I'm going to give you a real authentic reaction to the new Mini Truckin Magazine. Just over a year ago, it was announced that Mini Truckin Magazine was coming back into existence. It was about late June. I was at Scraping the Coast, and the news broke. And basically, Mini Truckin Magazine was back. The website shortly after came online, and they were very clear that they were going to do 3 issues in 2024. What we're going to review here in just a moment is issue number 1 of the new Mini Truckin Magazine. Now, believe it or not, I have not looked at the new magazine yet. There's a couple reasons for that, so we're going to dive into that now. I want to give a huge shout out to Garage Gear Clothing, one of our key partners at OLP. They offer a free shipping option. Hit up garagegearclothing.com. They have stuff for the guys, the ladies, the kids, hats, shirts, stickers, you name it, garagegearclothing.com. But in this video, really what I want to hit upon is number 1, I want to thank the team for relaunching this magazine. We know that it had an original run from 1988 with a kind of a special edition 1 issue into 1989. And of course, that ran until 2014. Ironically enough, the magazine shuttered. It was basically back in February 2012, news broke. And of course, in the magazine industry, there are usually a few issues ahead. And the magazine ceased at May of 2014. What that led for was the team to relaunch 10 years to the month that the magazine shuttered, and we have the new Mini Truckin Magazine. What I want to do first here is I want to show you the website. Okay, for those that don't know, it's minitruckinmag.net. If you come to this website, you're going to see, boom, you've got some awesome photos. You've got some key partners and some of the folks that they're working with. There are a few best or top mini trucks of particular shows and a few photos. There are some links as well at the bottom, I think, to their social media. If you come to the merch landing page, you have a 2024 subscription, so you can pick up the rest of 2024, which is September and November. You have sticker options, and then you have the banner. So I assume that they're going to be launching more in the near future. Now, why did I wait this long? Well, number 1, I was one of the subscribers pre-first issue coming out. Many of us jumped on board. So many of you did, and I was happy to hear that. I did as well. Now, here's the thing. I've only seen 1 or 2 screenshots from people online that have posted some of the content. I also did slap hands with Logan the Friday of Mini Nats. So Mini Nats, the 30th annual, which was April 2024, he had one of the issues and he briefly flipped through to show me a couple quick things, which I was excited to see. Now, they had the magazine on sale there. I did not pick up an extra copy just because I was busy. And then number 2, I had already subscribed. My issue took a little while to get here. They're working through all of the shipping woes, but I think they did a good job getting everyone fulfilled, and that was fantastic. So what ended up happening was this was my issue that came. So my original issue that came for my subscription came in this bag, and I did not have any challenges with it, okay? Now, if you know me, I like to keep things sealed if I can, and for whatever reason, the day that this came, I just said, you know what, I'm going to wait a while. What that led me to was buying a second issue. So again, I did not pick one up at Mini Nats. I wish I would have. I wish I would have got a couple of them. But that leads us to now, kind of the end of August, and I still haven't even looked at the issue. So without further ado, let's jump in. I want to thank Brooke from RA, Florida. She sent me an image when she received hers. She said, hey, I really like the write-up that you did for ODB's Corner in this issue. And I said, man, I hadn't gotten my issue yet, which I had not at that time. So it was super cool to see that. And I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'll also have something of a write-up, if you will, in the second issue, which is going to be shipping in September. Let's jump right in, y'all. First things first, what we got to do I am going to leave the one sealed, at least for now. I get the pleasure of ripping this open. Now, what I was curious about here is, okay, we are also sealed here, and looks pretty cool. Now, here's another reason why I ended up picking up another issue. The one that I have sealed here that just came in the bag, it has my name and address here. This is another version without that. Again, if you think back to the old days of the magazine, they would run these through a machine and they would print the label on there. So, oftentimes if you had the one version that had the label, it would kind of be printed over something else. So it's kind of cool to have this version. Shout out to Tom Jenkins, Toys for Tommy. My understanding is he jumped on board to sponsor the back cover. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and jump in now. Again, this is the first time I'm seeing this as well, and I hope that you'll stick with me. All right, so the first thing to do is rip this bad boy open. All right, so I kind of was an animal ripping this thing apart, and it is what it is. I've got some more bags I can put these in. Let's jump in. Now, I've been collecting magazines a long time. I have magazines back to the 70s. What I will tell you is in the late 80s in trucking, I know they had challenges with the staples coming out here. I know the team is working on the binding. I think the binding is going to be all new for issue 2, but I know that that's potentially a challenge, so I'm going to be kind of careful with this here. So we've got here the GMC Sonoma on the front. You got Miggity Mike the Mayor. Believe it or not, he ends up with an insert photo. Pretty cool. Congrats to him. Eastbound Getdown, Cruise of the Pines, and more. LST 2024, of course. And then you have Legacy Sliding Ragtops. At first, when I saw the cover, I thought it was the homie Johnny Garage Johnson. I actually messaged him, and I had seen this cover before it had came out. And I didn't share it with him, but I said, hey, question for you. Was there a photo shoot at your place for a magazine recently? And he said no, and that made me think, okay, well, this isn't his place. But he has a very similar spot, like this garage-looking setup, which is really cool. All right, now I haven't added this issue to the database, but scoring at home, I think this is the 34th cover for Relaxed Atmosphere, which brings them within one of the crown. I haven't talked a lot about that, about which truck club had the most covers. I'll talk about that in the near future. This would have been also, I think, the 14th cover. Again, this is if we go ahead and connect the original magazine with this one, and this would have been the 14th cover with intro wheels. So with that being said, again, kind of delaying here a little bit. You got some cool artwork here, which is the inside cover, which would have been advertisers. Now, again, I have not seen this at all. Shout out to Hammered Weekend Wear, one of our partners as well. They, of course, throw the Spark Show. Shout out to DJ Mays and the Kinfolk. You got the Hammered and then Dizzy Designs there. So on the cover, this would have been your table of contents, looking pretty cool. You've got the GMC Sonoma, it looks like. You got TukLugs, which is a former cover truck. You got Scotty the Body, one of our big homies. I knew he was going to be featured. You got Show Coverage, and then Second Chance. Of course, Slamfest here in Tampa. They were also called out on the cover. Here you have Ragtop Install, LST 2024, Eastbound Getdown, and then Cruise to the Pines, Australia. Pretty cool here. Editorial and design, Logan Wade and Matt McCoy. Contributors, you have them listed there as well. And some of the features, shows, and tech. So pretty nice layout. The other reason why I waited is because I didn't want to do a flip through and not give people the opportunity to go through and experience this for the first time on their own. Here's a super cool photo from Eastbound Getdown. You have Justin Wyatt's Mitsubishi. Chicks Ride, rest in peace, Jen Lacey. Of course, Thad owns that truck now. And then you have my truck, Bada Bing. So that's pretty cool to see it there. Jimmy Graham came out, and we took an epic photo shoot with all of the Jimmy builds / scraping custom builds that were there. I'm not going to go through this whole thing here. Again, I haven't read this, but it says we're back. So pretty cool there. 2024 show schedule. This would be a good thing for you to take a photo of and kind of put those dates into your phone. You have a QR code, which again, that's kind of the standard now in terms of what how we operate these days. Here you have TukLugs. This was a feature that I was aware that Logan Wade had shot. I think Logan had shared that with me, and I thought it was super cool because, this truck has the lineage all the way back to Mini Truckin. Of course, it's changed hands a few times. It's on the East Coast. This is when Randy owned it, so I thought it was pretty cool. You may like, seeing some of these trucks refeatured. Maybe you don't. Maybe you say, hey, they already got their limelight. But you got to remember, a lot of folks didn't, they weren't into Mini Truckin back in the day. So to me, this is super cool. Also, the other thing that I like about it is it gives you a unique perspective on, one of these old school kind of OG mini trucks, if you will. Oftentimes there's more done to these trucks. I mean, these XtraCabs are super cool. Of course, this was the year, I think, that it was kind of rainy in Maggie Valley. So, you've got the ragtop shut there in that photo. Here you can see, obviously, some new additions. AccuAir wasn't around whenever this was originally shot for the cover. So pretty cool. And it's, to me, this is an important aspect. We've been into the mini truck lifestyle for such a long time that if a magazine certainly ignored the roots of where we kind of came from, that wouldn't be a good thing. Now, we've also seen, some of the competitors run some features on trucks that were formerly on the cover. So, it's just one of those things. This truck, again, was super cool. If I remember correctly, there was work done, a new bumper put on. Chris Schmidt owns it now. You've got the NC logo on the front there, and super clean truck. We've got footage of this back around the time it debuted when it had the plexiglass Lexan. Super clean. But, I could look at this stuff all day, and me personally, speaking the truth, I like seeing some of these older trucks featured. You look at some of the things that were done. Probably, a new shifter. The speaker box looks kind of OG, maybe different speakers, but awesome. And then shout out to our Kinfolk Colorado Custom, with the awesome wheel. You got some ads in here, which is going to be key. And look at this, boom. Now, you can imagine putting this magazine together. It probably took them some time to get the first issue together. They had to decide, look how clean the engine bay is. So, they needed to fill the space, and this was an awesome feature that Logan did. You got Randy, shout out to my brother from another mother, NC, Florida. Rose Metalworks, you can see there. He's doing big things. Shout out to him. Good dude. What's streaming? So, if I remember correctly, DJ Mays put this together, and I had sent him a few things, some old images from what's in the CD changer. And if you think about now, although ironically enough, I have a CD changer in my 90 Mazda, kind of an old school deal. Most of us stream our content now. So this is cool. Hip hop, rock, country, and pop. Shout out to DJ Mays, a good dude. You have Drop Zone. So some cool stuff there. And you got more ads. This is pretty cool. Seeing like an old school illustration. And then ODB's Corner, I won't read the whole thing, but it says, oh yeah, once again, it's on. Just over 10 years ago, February 2014, news spread quickly that Mini Truckin Magazine was shuttering. Some of the same that I said earlier. And I tie in a quote from one of my favorite films there. So you can check that out. Elusive Fabrication. Here you got Suburbia Suds. He's local here in the Tampa Bay area. And then, of course, you got Crookshanks Toyota. Pretty cool. Slamfest coverage. A lot of people we know, of course, including Kirk. He's one of my neighbors. Doesn't live too far from me. Not like walk next door neighbor, but neighbor as in 10-minute drive. Comes over all the time. Good dude. So you got a lot of coverage here. This is going to be key for any show that is trying to draw people to their event. You want to have show coverage. This show just happened literally the weekend before I'm recording this. So shout out to Perry. That's a great show, I heard. Here you have Slamology, another show that was in June. You got to remember this magazine came out some time ago. This was a cool thing. Readers' rides. So many great trucks. I mean, you even think about this, a former cover truck as a reader ride. I love it. Josh, 72 Datsun 521 dually. Ironically enough, he's the person I bought my Mazda from. So shout out to Josh. You'll see that typically in Mini Nats. And so many good peeps. So I love seeing it. And then shout out to Don. I got a chance to get photos and videos of my truck next to it, the Steel Flame at Lone Star Throwdown this year. Shout out to LST. Project Lucid Dreams. So you got a legacy ragtop install. I want to do one of these so bad on my Mazda, so I'm going to be referring to this. I had caught wind. I think someone had told me that there was going to be a tech article in here. That's a key thing because tech articles were a huge part of Mini Truckin Magazine, the OG. KIK store, shout out to Stuart and Kinfolk, good people. Here's Next Year, a memory in the making, photos and words by Logan Wade. This is certainly a really, really nice truck. Not going to get into, you know, some of the conversations that took place, but, you know, a lot of people were probably thinking, man, another S10 on the cover. I never really look at the OEM and say another one of these. I look at the quality of the truck and look at this truck, how nice it is. You know, I so dig this thing. Lots of billet, lots of awesome paintwork. You know, just the hardware, the setup, the execution, I think is the best word. Shout out to Relaxed Atmosphere. Super clean. Now, again, remember, I'm jumping to this to kind of give you guys, for especially anybody that's on the fence, about, hey, do I want to buy this magazine? It's certainly exceeding my expectations to this point. But also, don't forget, I've went through every issue up to, we're just under 200 now, I think in the 170s. So you can always go back. They're all in playlists. So this one will serve as the flip through for, you know, this issue, certainly. My reaction, again, so far, it's exceeding expectations. Here's a cool photo that kind of shows you a little bit. You know, if you guys know me, I like to kind of know where the stuff was shot. Some of the background there. Being that I pushed the limits as much as we could with big body on my truck interior, you know, I look at something like this and go, wow, you know, hot rod to the fullest. Super cool. Tip of the cap. Shout out to our brother from another mother, Scotty the Body. Mutt to Masterpiece by Michelle Boone. And certainly a super cool feature here. And I'm hoping this light is not too bad because I'm trying to use this little light to make it a little bit brighter in here. It's kind of dark sometimes. Scott, good dude. Lots changed since then. He's changed his wheels. And this thing has won tons of awards. I got to ride in this truck the day that we did the photography, kind of the B-roll, if you will, for Carfix. When they did like an 80s mini truck type theme. I got to cruise my truck some, and then Scott said, hey, jump in with me. And then we were with our brother Tim, that's now in Severed, Florida. So I got a chance to cruise in this thing. It has a V8, believe it or not a V6. And it's got an LS in it. Super clean, job done. This thing runs great. It's got AccuAir. It's super cool. Shout out to our buddy Joey Whitby. He's good friends with these guys. Body Dropped Clothing. This is another key thing. Construction Zone. Loved how they did this with the Construction Zone kind of logos. And this, again, would be a super important thing. I can't tell if that is Purgatory. But that's you know, this is an important aspect of our scene. Eastbound Getdown, of course, John, Mike, and their significant others. There's CJ's Blazer. So you got Thad that came all the way from Pennsylvania a couple years in a row. The NC brothers, Scott and Jay. Eastbound is every January in the Daytona area, Destination Daytona. Technically Ormond Beach. A lot to digest here. Of course, Chicks Ride, again, Justin Wyatt. You got Miggity Mike the Mayor. Here's Bada Bing, my truck, which was cool that it made it into show coverage. Magic Man, Suzuki, Jamil, Savoy, Scott's wife, Jenalise. So pretty cool. Brooke. Here's another photo, Bada Bing, with Chicks Ride. And DJ Mays and Diggity Dom. Good people. Second Chance, Second Time's a Charm, words and text by Logan Wade. Super clean. You know, there's so many trucks out there. You know, when you go to Mini Nats, it's hard to digest them all because there's just so much, right? And my brain's on overload. So to me, to be able to go and kind of see some of this in print, it kind of goes, hey, if I haven't stopped to look at this truck before, I'm definitely going to in the future because, wow, look how nice it is. Print rules. It's getting a little tough for me to flip the pages with the one hand. Super clean. Again, look, I mean, these features are awesome. They just have a good amount of photos. You know, if I was getting featured nowadays and my feature looked like that, I would be super stoked. Puddin's Fab Shot. Shout out to Puddin's. Many of you watch him on YouTube. So, you know, you can see a lot of people that that jumped on board. Logan has worked back with multiple different people for show coverage throughout the world. And literally, here's Cruise to the Pines. You know, shout out to PP, Perfect Poise. And this presents Cruise to the Pines, Australia. Look at that artwork. Super clean. And that's the cool thing about Mini Truckin. You know, it's been worldwide. I've been sharing some old school, you know, covers that many of you have never seen from different publications around the world. And it's cool to think, you know, hey, yeah, Mini Truckin's been big here since the 80s and arguably the 70s. But certainly, it's been huge around the world for a long time. LST 2024, again, one of our key partners. We love LST. We hope that you'll come out next year. In September, the pre-registration is going to open for 2025. So many awesome trucks. And for those that go, well, there's not enough Mini Trucks, right here. This shows you how many Mini Trucks were there. Tom had Limelight out there. Shout out to Matt Stone. He's on Mike and John's artwork for EVGD 2025. Look at this. I mean, just tons and tons of trucks. You know, you got Daryl Poe, Randy, super cool, Smiley. I mean, this just shows you right here how many trucks. And shout out to, I think Corey Floyd took some of these, if not all of these. You got Eddie Gordy, CJ Fayette. Just so many awesome trucks. And then look, even a really cool morning shot of Bada Bing. So cool. I definitely appreciate it. And we just talked about the history of this truck, Low Lux. And then, of course, you got the awesome Nissan King Cab. Mike calls them all Extended Cab. David DeCorver, the Kinfolk, mid-September, of course, in Niceville, Florida. I've been to that show a couple times. Really fun. And we've got more show coverage. Again, for anybody that says, oh, there's not enough Mini Trucks. The reason why you think that is because the show field is so vast. And walking around there, yeah, it may not seem like that. Well, there's over 2,000 vehicles there. You got to go find them. Here's the Mini Nats. Look at this artwork. Super cool. Graphic Disorder always kills it. But, you know, just even the layout of the ad, you know, that's something that if I cut magazines up, I'd, you know, cut that up and put that in a little frame, man. That's cool stuff. And then, boom, outside the pages, which is kind of the new version of graffiti, I would say. Super cool. And you've got an ad here. And then there's the back, Toys for Tommy, Tom Jenkins. Many of you know him. Definitely made a splash and kind of buying a lot of these trucks, you know, former cover trucks and so on and so forth, and kind of building and finishing some stuff too, which is super cool. So there you have it. This is technically May 2024. Let's wrap this video up. All right, there you have it. I certainly appreciate you sticking with me to the end. What do you think? I think there's been a lot of good buzz about this magazine. I do think, you know, oftentimes I see comments about people saying, man, you know, I miss the good old days of waiting to get to the mailbox and, you know, take the issue out and just unwrap it or, you know, dive into it, if you will. And certainly many of us miss those good old days. Of course, social media is where the majority of content is shared now. Oftentimes we know so many of these trucks even before they debut, but certainly to have something in print, many of us grew up in the era of print. And what I would ask is for any opportunity that you have, if you can, go support this publication, minitruckinmag.net. They're good people. They're going to be at various shows. They've already hit so many. And I'm just thankful to be able to say, wow, 10 years later after this magazine shuttering, that they're back. Stay on the rise, everyone. ODB, I approve this message. Gotcha.